Hey everybody, Brian here. So in this video I want to show you this car here. This is 2024 and it's Santa Fe in what's called the Caligraphy specification. Anyway, if there's any information you want on this car, let me know in the comment section below. The idea of the video is just to give you an idea of what comes on this car in this spec. And this car, if you're in Ireland and you're looking at these cars, might be of interest because this car will be for sale at the time of the video. If you are somebody that's interested in the car in Ireland, give me a shout direct, 086 843 1945, and I'll run through trade-ins and finance and any other information you want to know on the car. Just in case you're wondering why I'm outside the Mercedes garage, it's the only place I can seem to find a bit of shelter from the wind. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff I like on the outside of the car first. Indicators, why would I do that? I just want to show you how the lights work, I suppose. So you have these kind of H-shaped lights now. I have very detailed videos on this version of Santa Fe if you want, which is this video here. If you look at that, it really goes through this particular version, calligraphy. But for the moment, we'll concentrate. I'll show you as much information as I can on this. So I like those massive LED indicators. I think they're really cool. I really like the shape of the taillights and the different on the rear. And like, for me, this car is very different. It's square, it's chunky. For me, a Jeep, in my opinion, I think traditionally it'll age well because Jeeps over the years have always been kind of square. On a calligraphy, I love the way that Santa Fe is black along here, the badging is black along there. So when you look at the back of the car, and admittedly in different shapes, this car looks a lot better in dark colours, in my opinion, in calligraphy than it does in light colours. And for me, sorry, I keep saying for me, but black is I think it's the best colour in it because everything about calligraphy is black. All the accents down along here, the wheels, the interior, everything's black on it, and it makes the car look really mean, and I mean that in a good way. It just looks kind of tough. But I remember the first one of these that we saw, when we put in the showroom, people they just didn't really know what it was. It was just like a big, tough looking Jeep. And that's what I like about calligraphy in a black. Anyway, I like the way so you have dual kind of double optic LEDs along through here, and then those big H-shaped indicators along through there. Other kind of H shapes you'll see, not that that's a big deal, it is Hyundai and all that kind of stuff. On the kind of lower spec model, you'll see that's in silver and it has a kind of a H shape as well. But just what I like about these, they're less common. They have that kind of Land Rover-y look about it, and like, let's face it, Land Rovers are nice looking vehicles. But for me, this car is, there's that for me again. This would be, in my opinion, probably an easier vehicle to run and own and maintain. So this is the 5-seat configuration. So this car was privately owned. There was two people who would have owned the car, and so I guess what I'm trying to say to you is the rear seats in the back and even the middle were pretty much never used. Okay, so the first thing is I better take out this tonneau cover. So just actually while we're here, rear passenger gets AC power here, they get USB, they get ventilation, and they get control for their ventilation. And this side also gets ventilation and also gets USB, drinks holders, all that kind of stuff. So to enable seats, you literally just pull like so, and same on this side, you pull like so, right. Yes, the boot is small once those seats are up, but anytime I've ever used these, I tended to use one seat as a boot and this seat over here if I had maybe 6 people in the car instead of 7. 7-seaters kind of often involve Tetris. So in other words, you're moving one seat here, and you're trying to accommodate people in the back. Just so we know, how does a 6-foot adult sit in the back one of these? And they are more for kids and stuff like that. I press that button there, that brings it forward. It's never glamorous getting into the back of a 7-seater. One thing that is important on these, they do have ISOFIX on the back seats. That is not super common on a lot of the third rows of a lot of 7-seaters. So, right, I am sitting in the back, and then I'm going to make life super hard, and this seat is all the way back, so not allowing for any passenger space in the rear. It's doable, far from ideal, but I'd probably move that up a little bit. But really, you would never leave that means this person here has an unbelievable amount of space. Like you're saying, it's a bit of Tetris. So what you'd normally want to do is maybe not have this. So if you had a taller person, you could put maybe someone a little bit shorter here, and then someone that's a little bit taller to have more space. Then you might move that seat. So I'll show you what I mean once I get into the second row. For anyone that's wondering how to get out, I just push that and I step out like so. And what's also nice is the third row actually gets a set of mats, which is useful as well. So, like what we were saying, let's do the Tetris thing. So let's say, for example, we got one short person and one longer person. So this person, maybe a smaller child, this person maybe closer to an adult and wants more space. So how would that figure when they're sitting in the back? And again, your driver also needs to make some space. So again, I know I'm probably harping on this, but it is an area that does need to be covered. So I've less space here, but this passenger is literally all the way back, which again is totally unfair. So on 7-seaters, you do have to factor in every person that's kind of going to sit in the car. So now I've got quite a lot of room, or I could go back here, and we said we might have a short person here. And now, even with that driver's seat back, I still have a lot of legroom. Now I get it, that's not exactly exciting watching, so I've probably lost a few of you, but if you're still here, it is an area that does get glanced over quite a bit in some videos about 7-seaters, so I'm just trying to give you some practical application. The seats I think are really expensive looking. I love the designs that are in these along here when they're in the 5-seat configuration, and then you've got a really big boot, to be fair. In the 5-seater configuration. I like the way it's got these blinds along here and they cover the whole window, so they're useful especially if you have any young kids. Big generous pockets for the drinks holders, electrics for windows over here, and then there is a 3-stage heated seat for the rear passengers in through there as well. This here is going to be some storage. Again, we're kind of coming back in with more of this kind of H shape. Not that, look, a lot of customers do they really care about that stuff? Probably not. I can hang stuff from here, I can hang stuff from here. I like the way the USB connectors are on the seats, so people can use them. And you see the way then, when I was sitting here, I was able to control this seat in front of me if I want to let it forwards or recline it or whatever way you want to work that to make more space for myself as a passenger in the rear. This universal island, I can access it from this side, or we'll see in the front, I can also access it from up front. And one thing that's nice then on these, they have a Bose, it's quite upmarket, stereo system. So again, as a calligraphy, all black along here, like what we saw, all the kind of black accents that are down along through there. But actually, do you know what? I am going to show you in a sec this car in black in the premium specification. And you can have a little look side by side to see how this one looks, and in my opinion how much meaner looking this one is, and I mean mean in a good way. Engine, we will go for a drive in a sec, which is a 1.6 turbocharged petrol engine with a 13.8 kilowatt hour battery. So that does mean, we'll say we get about 265 horsepower. We are going to go for a drive. The key I want to show you, so the key's got some kind of interesting functionality. Lock the car, unlock the car, I can remote start the car from here, but the kind of interesting one is lock the car, remote started, 1, 2, 3, and the car is now remote started itself, and then I can walk it. So because car park spaces haven't got a whole lot bigger, but cars have, sometimes you might want to move the car into a space, or similarly move it out of a space so I can go backwards as well. That's not the right button at all. Anyway, while we're on the subject, I can open the boot and close the boot using the key, which is not what I wanted to do in that case. I do that the whole time and then for some reason. So what I did want to do was move the car backwards. And some people might wonder, you know, how safe that is and all that kind of stuff. So let's say if I walk around behind the car, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to stop here and the car has copped on that I'm here and it's stopped. So I think it's a pretty damn cool function, so I do. These here actually are only on the calligraphy, so they're little, oops, that's all. Actually, keyless entry, while we're at the topic, unlock the car, or lock it just using that because the key's in my pocket. There is a little lock here, so I can open that out, and that opens that there then if I want to use that as a handle when I'm stepping up onto the roof. If I was using roof bars on top of these standard roof rails to put, like, say, a roof box up there. Just before I forget, you do have Isofix here and Isofix there as well. Nice big armrest in the center if you're more in, like, say, a 4-seater configuration. Again, I suppose the whole thing with these is configuring them differently based on what you need. I love that car to look at. I really like it. There's cars we sell every now and then, and some of them where I go, yeah, I would love that for myself. Anyway, it's going to take a little bit more time before we got the funds at home to do that. So at the moment we have a Tucson, maybe someday we'll get into Santa Fe hopefully. Programmable driver seat, usual stuff, electrics for windows and for mirrors and all that kind of stuff. So I like these lights, the way they're lit up. It's lovely at night time. I tell you why. It lights up underneath, so it makes the dash almost floating like, and you have like any colour you pretty much want in there as well. Again, we said we can open that there. I can take that out. The previous owner never even took the plastic off that. Tom and Mary that used to own that, they are very easy on cars, and they really do look after them. And actually I must give them back those leads that they had. And they have another vehicle that they use for dogs and stuff like that as well. So they have two vehicles. This is more the Sunday vehicle, or was the more Sunday vehicle. Drinks holders, dual wireless charging for phones, USB-C in through there as well. This is interesting on the Caligraphy UVC. So if I open up that, I can put something in there and it becomes a UV how would you call that? It's let's try that again. A UV sanitization box. So if you put a device in there, it'll sanitize it using UV light. Pretty cool. And they come with a little icebreaker for the window breaker if you're ever in trouble that you need to break windows to get out of the car more so than into it. Nice big glove box. Usual stuff here. And we are going to go for a drive. We haven't cleaned that properly, so that section there all needs to be cleaned a little bit better. So it's only got a quick clean up so far. Driver side, passenger side, heated and cooled seats, front and rear windscreen demisters, all that kind of stuff. Parking sensors. I like the camera being 360, so and it does have some functionality on it, but I know that doesn't look like the car. It's a standard program for them. Personally, I prefer this one. I think it's better, and then you can make it really big. And actually, you can use that when you're driving backwards. When you're driving forwards, you can leave these cameras facing backwards. So there's quite a lot of different options on that, which brings me on to this. This is a rear view mirror, or it can be a digital rear view mirror. So you can see that car driving up over there, or I can zoom in, and that can be adjusted in terms of brightness and light and height and all that kind of stuff. Right, up through here, this is 12.3 inch screen, maps, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is wireless, because our 10.25 inch screens were tethered, whereas these ones are wireless. Nice features like things like car wash mode, it just sets the car up for what way you would want it set up going into a car wash. Small things, loads of customization in through there, and then blind view monitors. I turn left, I have a camera that side, I turn right, I have a camera that side, and that links in then with things like, you see the blind spot indicator in the door mirror, which warns you if anyone is out of your sight. Right, this is a plug-in hybrid, so it's telling me at the moment, if I had this charged, right, so I should have charged it before the video, I got 34 kilometers off. Hybrid driving, it looks like petrol, but that's actually hybrid driving. Let's just get something straight. The hybrid driving will be where you have little bursts of maybe a quarter of a kilometer, half a kilometer, something like that, of electric driving, and the car will recharge that using the engine and some regen for braking and stuff like that as well. So that'll constantly do that. So if you never charge this car, it'll still do little bursts of electric driving, and it'll act as a hybrid. However, if I do plug it in, I end up getting 55 kilometers of full electric driving, at which point it runs out and then still does self-charging driving. So even when it runs out of full electric drive, it can still do little bursts of electric drive. So you got 50 to 55 kilometers, probably realistically 45 to 50 kilometers of full electric drive, and then after that it reverts to being self-charging. The other thing I was going to say is the paddles have a little bit more functionality. So on the old models, they used to be changing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in terms of gears, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whereas now they do regenerative braking. So you can actually use these paddles. You'll see down here, there's different levels. Level 1, okay. So regen braking is you let off, and it might feel like the brake pedal is nearly on, but it's trying to harvest energy from the wheels turning. So the advantages are I don't use my brake pads, and I also harvest some what would have been waste energy, and it goes back into the battery. The shifters down here, forward, backwards, park, forward, backwards, park. Cruise control is adaptive, so it follows the car in front. Wipers will be automatic, lights will be automatic, and they dip themselves and come on themselves and all that kind of stuff as well. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's go for a drive. It's going to get my camera for driving. I think it's a cool looking yoke. That is, in my opinion, in that model of Santa Fe, that is the best finish that they come in. Calligraphy in black. I do like a premium in silver, if that makes sense to you. So what I'm trying to say to you is I think black is the best colour in a calligraphy, whereas I think silver is the nicest colour in a premium. But if I had to choose one Santa Fe out of all the specs and colours, definitely that. That just lean, looks cool. Just in case you're wondering what the previous owner of that car, or why they traded it back in, he'd always been interested in the concept that they had coming off the full electric big car, so in this case Ioniq 9. He was always interested in that. Even at the time when he was buying that, he was still kind of curious about that. But anyway, it wasn't coming on time, so he bought that, and then when he saw that, he thought it was really cool. But I remember ringing him when he got this black one first and kind of going, you know, what do people think and all that kind of stuff. And he'd be watching this video, so it's not kind of bullshit. And he was saying, yeah, you pull into a petrol station, people be kind of looking at it going, what is that? It's cool, like, it's mean looking. Anyway, I left the keys inside. Got the keys in the clamp. Actually, anyone that's curious about charging, right, I probably skipped over that a bit. And again, the other video I talked about earlier is probably better on that. If you had a charge point, these cars will take 3.3 kilowatts every hour. So this one over here, that's just for regular petrol. This one over here is for electricity. So if you have one of these and you have your own cable, you plug it in, and 3.3 kilowatts, so it's a 13.8 kilowatt hour battery, so about maybe 4.5 hours to fully charge. They do come with a 3-pin socket charger, which is in here. So essentially one side goes into the car, the other side goes into the wall of the house, and or sorry, 3-pin socket maybe that's in the wall of the house outside, or even inside if you can put it in through a window, and it'll charge away. A little bit slower on that. You're at about maybe 7 hours for a full charge on that one that comes with the car. And like what we were saying then, that'll give you around about 50-ish kilometers realistically of driving. So to drive the car, I put it into reverse. I don't have my safety belt on yet, and I am using my phone here for a minute, but we are on the garage property, so it should be okay. Right, safety belt on, and let's mount the camera. If you haven't driven an SUV this size before, or if you're used to things like Tucson, Sportage, those types of cars, this does feel a lot taller. The visibility is really good, big windows, and it's just nice. Like, you get a nice feeling driving in a big car like this. Like we said, it's 265 horsepower. I can use the paddles here manually to change gears. You don't have to. Like, I do it to engage, but most, I'd say 90% of people are never going to use that kind of stuff, and they'll just use it in a normal automatic mode. And these ones are 4-wheel drive as well, so there's good grip obviously in adverse conditions, and for some people that may be important in worse parts of the year when it comes to weather. Watch this here. So you see here, I'm going to use this left paddle. I'm not using the brakes, I'm using the regenerative braking. So I'm using the paddle to slow the car down, save brake pads, and harvest some of that waste energy that we're losing. So I was in like an eco mode using the paddles there, but if I go back into sport mode, then I can use the paddles for changing gears, which again, most of you probably won't bother doing. One thing, like we're saying, the car is uncharged at this time, but it's still going to do. If you watch here, it's currently driving in EV mode, so it does these little bursts of electric driving, even though I haven't actually physically charged it. So like what I was saying, Caligraphy and premium, right? Just kind of lucky here because I just happen to have a black premium for comparison. So you see the way those accents are all silver wheels, 20-inch wheels on both models actually. So silver accents, silver wheels, silver badging, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I mean by the difference between them. I just think that in black, and like I was saying to you, I think a silver premium probably looks better than a silver Caligraphy per se. But I just think the black is much more aggressive looking, and kind of mean looking. Like even the grills up front, the grill's a different shape to the grill on this one as well. You don't see the badging, you know. So anyway, everyone's different. I just think that's a cool looking car, and that is a lovely looking car, but probably a little bit more, what's the word I look for, subdued, and a little bit more kind of less aggressive looking than this one here that we've been talking about. So anyway, hopefully the video's been useful. If you watched the whole lot, wow, thanks a million, I really appreciate it. And if I've missed anything, just let me know in the comment section below, and hopefully the video is useful, and thank you for watching.